There's been a lot of conflict and noise made about Governor Scott Walker's attempt to destroy the power of the people by taking away the Public Teachers Union collective bargaining rights. Rather than do a video about how greedy and selfish Scott Walker, the Republican Party, and their supporters are, I thought for a change of pace, we could all do videos talking about a few of the public school teachers we had who were a major influence in our lives. So I'm going to tell you about two. The first one is Mr. Roeder. He was my 5th grade English teacher. Mr. Roeder had this deadpan, sarcastic manner and a tough-as-nails approach to education. He was my first introduction to what I call creative insulting. Mr. Roeder would walk down the aisle, handing out each graded paper and announce the grades for the class, often with commentary. Miss Johnson, a 98. Very good, Becky. There is hope for the future of humanity yet. Mr. Weiss, a 44. So much for the future of humanity, Mr. Weiss. When New York City crumbles to dust, mankind will look to the past and remember your noxious grade, Mr. Weiss. But his best comments were made if someone scored a 0. Mr. Lawrence Greenblatt, a big fat 0. Lawrence, you get Zots, Zippo, hard cheese. I swear, we used to get such a kick out of hearing Mr. Roeder go off when someone got a 0 and hearing him say Zots, Zippo, hard cheese that I suspect some of us tanked our quizzes just to hear him do it. Mr. Greenblatt, you have a brain. I suggest you try using it. You, sir, are a mass of protoplasm. Mr. Greenblatt, do you know what a mass of protoplasm is? It is a gel-like substance that lays there, quivering, accomplishing nothing of any significant value. Study, Mr. Greenblatt, and distinguish yourself. Make future generations proud. Study, all of you. Cease to be lumps of indistinguishable protoplasmic globules. Now, the second teacher is a teacher from my high school by the name of Mr. Tartaglia. At the beginning of the school year, Mr. Tartaglia walked into the classroom and placed a sealed jar with a foul-looking liquid in it on his desk. Not once during the school year did he explain the purpose of the jar. No matter how many times we begged or demanded an explanation, all he did was give us a secret smile and say, "You'll have to wait till the end of the year for an explanation." Come the end of the year, he explained that the jar existed for one purpose, to show us how one person could influence the minds of others without speaking a single word. He said, "In the years to come, you will forget most, if not everything you've learned in this class, in high school itself. But I suspect that for the rest of your life, you will remember this jar." It's 25 years later, Mr. Tartaglia, and you are right. I still remember that jar quite vividly. However, Mr. Tartaglia, I do still remember many of the authors you introduced me to, like Steinbeck, Hemingway, Mark Twain, Aldous Huxley, George Orwell, just to name a few. Now, Mr. Tartaglia, he's responsible for making me aware of psychology and how useful it can be to have knowledge how the human mind works. So let's see some of you others out there tell some stories in a show of support for public school teachers everywhere. Now, I'm not going to make this a tag exactly. I'd like everyone to do this, but to help get things rolling, I'm going to mention a few names here, people who, they may have some fine stories to tell from what I understand. Abbynormalone, Stealthbadger, GothatFunk, SiriusMined, Vogter666, AncientAtheist, No Plum 99. So come on, people out there, let's hear some of those stories you have to tell about some of the public school teachers you knew as children, teachers who made a difference in your life. Show that these teachers who are in part responsible for the formation of the minds, who are the future of America, show that they do have value, they do have worth, and that worth should be recognized. This is the True Puka coming to you from Bryant Park in New York City, and remember, if you find these words upsetting,